Hey everyone, my action research project is using the coding tool Unruly Splats in Core French 6. So my biggest challenge being a core French teacher, which is also my goal, is moving students from compliance to engagement while meeting course outcomes using Unruly Splats in Core French 6. So some of my biggest challenges, of course, teaching a second language, our students' motivation and engagement, their level of interest. Also, in terms of coding, their lack of knowledge. I only see them also time-wise every second day for an hour. So it's really tricky to have that consistency. Also, their spacing. I'm a traveling teacher, so I go to students or to other teachers' classrooms. So, this is typically used for gym classes and music rooms where there is a ton of space. So, in terms of using it for core French, I really had to get creative in creating effective lessons in someone else's small space. So, if you've never heard of Unruly Splats before, they are a pretty cool coding tool. I was lucky enough to already have this in my own school, but this is something that if it interests you, you can sign up for, and you can possibly have them being brought into your school. So they are a coding tool. It's pretty easy for student use. It's student friendly. Students can code their own lessons, or there's pre-coded lessons, and typically you code it so that when it's stomped on or touched, it lights up. So it's really great for relay races or math lessons, gym lessons, music lessons. I ended up using it for my lesson as a 4-corner lesson. So I used 4 of them. I put them in each 4 corners of the classrooms, and I had students code one statement for each splat, and students had to decide which statement was most true, and they would run to them and stomp on them and then have to explain their reasoning. So my goals were pretty basic, just having students engage in the content. They'll use Unruly Splats to effectively learn and use new vocabulary and learn new coding skills. So just a little project visual, having the 4 splats set up in the 4 corners of the room and then playing essentially 4 corners. I just have some more detailed versions of the project and assessment. And then it was really important to me to use this again in the future by getting that student self-assessment done. So I used a Google form. Students were able to answer things such as, did they find this more engaging and exciting to use than traditional learning that we had been doing up to that point? What did they like about it? What did they not like about it? Is this something they'd like to use again in the future? So yeah, really helping for my next steps. I did it over a 2-3 week timeline where students were able to get introduced, work on their lessons, present, incorporate my feedback, and then also fill out their Google Forms. So just some pictures of students in action, really enjoying it in grade 6. I think my biggest reflections that I saw from students is how engaged and motivated they were compared to traditional learning. They really enjoyed creating new lessons. The coding was a little tricky for some students who didn't have that much experience. And students who did have a lot of experience by playing coding games like Scratch, they were able to help each other out. They were definitely more engaged than they had been previously. So that higher level of interest was there. I definitely found it to be more engaging and motivating and a higher level of interest for students. The biggest struggles that I did see, or that I had, was just in terms of the spacing, in terms of not seeing them as consistently as I would like to. So not being a classroom teacher, that is a little bit out of my control. Um, and then just in terms of next steps, I would love to be able to use this again in the future. I would like to be able to have my own classroom or just an empty space that I can go to have more space and more access for students to play. I'd really like to look into block coding tools such as Dash robots, where they could create their own stories and characters for another vocabulary unit. And maybe even looking into something a little bit more of a challenge like MIT App Inventor. And then also I would love to reach out to other core French teachers who maybe have never thought about using Unruly Splats or an app like this before. And then maybe creating new lessons together for students moving forward, and just opening up to them to let them know about the positive experiences that I've had using this. And my time is up, so thank you so much. If this interests you, definitely reach out.